Welcome back to another episode of Susan LoPresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul. This is the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan LoPresti, and today I have a very special guest. His name is Eric Stoller, and he is an innovative entrepreneur, motivational strategist, and media leader at the forefront of wellness, longevity, and human performance movement. Known through the industry as the brand whisperer of wellness, Eric helps individuals and organizations harness motivation as a powerful source for healing and transformation. As the founder of Patient Zero and Champion Mindset events and host of the Eric Stoller Show, Eric has built influential platforms that unite cutting edge science, biohacking, regenerative health, holistic medicine, and mindset mastery. His work brings together world renowned physicians, researchers, biohackers, high performance coaches, and wellness entrepreneurs to educate, inspire, and activate audiences at scale. Through Patient Zero, Eric is redefining wellness conferences by creating immersive, high energy experiences that merge medical innovation with transformational motivation. So, without further ado, Eric, welcome to my podcast. I'm so grateful to have you here today, and I can't wait to dive into this conversation with you.
Excellent, excellent. So pleasure to be here today, Susan. And absolutely look forward to sharing more about what we do and what I do. And fire away.
Okay, so you're known throughout the wellness world as the brand whisperer of wellness. Tell us about your personal journey. What first inspired you to enter the world of wellness, motivation, and human performance?
That's a good question. I got good writers and the brand whisperer. And my background is one of, I've been in the world of personal development and motivation for most of my career. I started my career working with people like Brian Tracy. I promoted his
Oh,
seminars for decades all around the United States, producing his seminars. I built a seminar company from nothing for over 100 people. And then I went on to help Les Brown years later to start and launch his speaking institute where we enrolled thousands of people. And so all along those years as an entrepreneur, I was always battling with weight. I had health issues in my 40s. I had a heart attack. I was in the hospital taking my wife at the time to the hospital. And basically, as a result, I slowed down and I said, let me try some different things. Let me go to work for somebody else. And that lasted for a short amount of time because I got even more stressed and I went back into what I love. And you have those moments in life. And I said, this is what I need to do. So I started up my champion mindset events and produced my first event at what's now Hard Rock Stadium, Sun Life Stadium at the time, the Dolphin Stadium, the football team.
yeah.
And me as a businessman, I just did a huge event in New York at the time at the Javits Center. And I meet the gentleman I've done large events with thousands and thousands of people with the biggest speakers in the world for most of my life. And the Dolphins thing happened because the guy said, "Oh, if you buy the tickets to the game, I'll give you the space for free." I'm like, "What did you just say?" So I bought all the tickets. And then I got the space for free, and I got Les Brown to join me, and I've got other speakers to join me. And then that was year one. It was like just several hundred people. I had just had a heart attack. In year two, there was almost 2,000 people. And then year three, me and Les launched the Les Brown Institute. And what I learned working with Les Brown and what my journey now, I was like overweight, had just battled a heart attack, dealing with alcohol, and other issues. And what I realized, it was about 2023, I was involved heavily in the wellness space for the last 8 years, helping people buy and sell clinics, helping them run their marketing, working with dozens of different products and services, helping run and manage conferences. And it was just because I had such a varied background that I could take on all of this with my staff to support it. Plus, I just loved the space. I thought it was so exciting. But Eric Stoller had one foot in a banana peel and the other foot in the grave. I'm over here like talking wellness and I'm like ready to keel over. My wellness journey at 4 o'clock when I couldn't deal with the doctor was to go to Flanagan's and have a couple of Johnny Walkers. That was my therapy. It worked well because then I was, but you know how that works. It's not going to go anywhere too long. It's going to kill you slowly, but it's going to kill you. So I finally made a decision, and this is what I share with your audience. So people talking about weight, they like people want to get in better shape. There's got to be, Tony Robbins talks about it, a defining moment, something you're sick and tired about being sick and tired.
Yes.
And when people say, oh, I got to have this, I don't have the time. Listen, I just buried my mother. And oh, I could have seen her. I thank God that I had the opportunity to be on a FaceTime call with her the day before. And my father had the opportunity to be present with her. So I say this to people, you got to be present in your own life. You got to be aware, right? You're stressing out and or you're reaching for a Johnny Walker or you're reaching for a donut. You're like, let me just be calm for 5 minutes and take some meditation and take a breath and say, why is this happening to me? And why not at me? Let me just manage it. So I was able to use, because of my relationships, I use peptides. And as people know, trizipatide. And most people, Susan, if you don't know what the peptides, I see semaglutide or trizipatide, and they go, huh? And I go, Ozempic. Oh, I go, Monjuro. One go, oh, I know. So people know brand, but
Yes.
they actually don't know the actual peptide or medication. I was fortunate enough to have a friend that said, here. And when you get stuff for free, what do you do with it? Usually put it away.
Yeah.
So I actually took the free medicine, put it away, and he called me and yelled at me and said, what are you doing? I got on that journey, and whatever it was, of my 275 pounds, I was maybe at 270 pounds. And I go like my wife said, hey, it looks like you're losing weight. And I go, I am. And of course, my friends are like, you're not losing weight. You're a fat, you know what? And I'm like, whatever happened in my brain, and this is what the medication did, it shifted my thinking. Because yes, everybody is there to sabotage you when I'm like, hey, my mindset changed on how I looked at food. Then I said, let me get back into the gym. I was been an avid athlete and working out, and I did that. Then my formulators are like, here, try this. So I was a moth to a flame. I was willing to be what we say coachable. The
Yeah.
last part of it being in the motivational seminar world is how the heck do you hold on? Meaning, I've lost weight 4 and 5 times in my life. I don't know how many people you might know and say, wow, because you might gain the weight and you lose it. But do you have the things that kept you to have not only the emotional intelligence, but what is there an overarching goal that's something that you're not going to stop doing even past? Yeah, I'm working out every day. That's great. So you got control of your body. I gained a few pounds. I ate one too many Rugelach and Hummintosh and between every Jew in Boynton Beach came in with like from Flakowitz with one thing and the next thing. But what are you going to do? It's a shiva call. Everybody comes with food. So
Yeah.
here you are, you're on your trizipatide and but I'm way past that. But if I regulate myself by staying on a scale daily, I know how far I am within a number. So that's regulated. But I said, what's going to get you so you get out of whatever negativity, depression? So I turned to singing, and as a kid, I sang. I took lessons. We created some original music, one called Man on a Mission that ties into the storytelling. We created another program called Ready to Rock. And we've created a multi-day seminar, and that's part of our whole coaching and ambassador network program. Because what I know is not only do people want to tell their story and share their story, now let's go back and help them get the right tools and things they need to actually heal themselves, whether it is weight, whether they're dealing with an addiction, whether they're dealing with chronic disease. Now you have access to these people, whether you just want to get to a higher consciousness. So that's been the platform. And then having the opportunity to work with all of these different companies and doctors' offices and helping them market. I'm like, what's the objective? What are you trying to accomplish? Just you like, here, take it, versus how are you solving a problem? How are you making the doctor's life easier? How is the patient thriving? And in the end, how are we creating a revenue stream so everybody wins? And that's been my philosophy. And now being here in this patient advocate, because the general population has no clue about what a stem cell is. Or here, I'm about to get into an argument with a guy that said, do you know this, that? Yeah, I know. I work with people that have treated almost 100,000 people. Do you know? Meanwhile, I'm finding guys are hustling me to throw people in events to pay me nickels and dimes. So, do you know that people are doing for your events is really so again, I listen to what people have to say, but at the end of the day, I've had the opportunity to work around the best people in the industry with the people that are in the know and making things happen that are groundbreaking that you only hear about or people don't believe until they actually get the treatment. So that's been my journey. And to lose 100 pounds and to then inspire people is really what my mission and calling is, because I don't want somebody to have a heart attack. I don't want somebody to go through what I've gone through. There's no need to. It's if every day you take care of yourself, you're a-okay. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me and man on a mission and all that good stuff. So hope that gives you a good idea.
Yes, it does. So I'm assuming that's what inspired you to create the platforms like Patient Zero and Champion Mindset events, more or less.
Yes,
Tell us
yes.
about both of those platforms.
Sure. ChampionMindsetEvents.com is our forward facing event platform where we run our own events. We also host events for other people. We also have our whole storytelling program, but it's not just storytelling. We teach people how to be better presenters. You have to do boardroom presentations, or if you want to be a better salesperson. We spent most of our careers early on working with Brian Tracy on the psychology of selling and the psychology of achievement. So we had people say a brand whisper. My first question is why do people buy from you? And what's your messaging? So part of what I try to do with people is look at a holistic approach with Champion. And let's say as a speaker or a podcaster or as a talent, give you a platform not only to use to promote your programming and your ideas, but also give you tools. We also have created our academy, which within it, which gives you not only the opportunity to help people level up their speaking ability. So Champion Mindset Events is really a forward-facing platform for people that want to get their name out and either put their events out there or they want to get it on a platform to speak. I've spent my career working with Les Brown, Brian Tracy, all the greats. So we at a lot of our events, we help people get on stage with those people to brand credibility. Les likes to call it borrowed credibility. So we help people get on stage, but sometimes you're not ready for that. So I do baby steps. I put people on a fireside chat or just on a panel, or we do weekly work with them because there's such a fear, Susan, of getting on a stage. But when you can master that, wow, I teach people how to get up for 30 seconds, 15 minutes, 30 minutes to teach a half day workshop, a full day workshop, a multi-day seminar. I feel lucky to do that. So that's what our events platform does. And what Patient Zero is all about is that platform on the health and wellness to share with people what's happening, what's real, what's happening with real big pharma and so on. And our newest is Man on a Mission, which is me, which I shared with you earlier about going out there, educating the population, working with the practitioners to get them understanding how to effectively work with the average person and using myself as a guide. I just do what's called an EBU treatment, if you're familiar with that, where they filter
Yeah.
the blood. Yeah, for they filtered the blood from one side to the next and all this gook and foam that came out. And they charged thousands of dollars for it. But I had my whole team videotape it to show people, like, wow, does it work? I felt amazing. I felt so light after that, amazing, all this crap that came out of your blood, excuse my language. But
Wow.
these are the kind of things that I share with people. And once people know, they're not woo, they're like helping you reduce inflammation and avoid, like you said, ending up in a memory care facility like my mother.
Yeah. What's your feeling on stem cells?
I say I believe in stem cells. I've had multiple stem cell treatments. I just had a neuro shot done in my temple not 3 days ago. That shot improved my vision, my ability to read, my cognitive. We're working with groundbreaking people that are doing autistic, working with autistic. I had two autistic children treated with the same similar shot. One is now, both are driving. One was told he would never even speak or even be able to functioning. A big believer. Here's what you got to know about stem cells, what people know: it's the efficacy and it's the amount of whatever it has, exosomes and the actual stem cells. But what you know is what I've understood, they multiply for 5 weeks. And I'm lucky enough to work with somebody who is very well known, but has tested 37 types and was actually somebody that was injured and learned about it. And he healed in rapid time. In fact, I was with him the other day and he had a scar on his face and he used the stem cell and it took like it was gone immediately. The power of it, the people we're treating. Florida is a big time. It's open. I had a woman walk in pain in a cane. She walked out of pain without a cane. Yeah, I'm a
So
big
it's
believer.
immediate relief with stem cells?
Many of the things you'll see immediate relief, and it usually gets better over time. I can tell you, it's also the big bad thing is that most people have to understand, even if you're not dealing with a chronic disease, pain. I have a friend, a gentleman who works with us that he has all kinds of metal in his body. He was in four. He's one of those air show pilots. He crashed 4 different times, so he's full of metal. The stem cells immediately took the pain out. And yeah, it's just really astounding, Susan. If I'll send you the video and you'll be like, wow, from this weekend, we restored the vision of a 12-year-old boy who could barely see. Because remember, you're putting the tissue of new cells of a brand new 0 day old cells. So, the body is no, it's pure. And then these like people know how to capture it and get the result. There are things that I am learning too, like when you get them, you then really want to stay where you're not, where you're relaxed. You don't want to be in a situation. You actually want to get a lot of rest. So it's really like we have people that come and they stay for a few days to relax and recover and then get the treatment again. I wasn't going to get it that right away. And he goes, hey, let's do it now. I highly recommend it for anybody. We also do it in one of the clinics I work with. You do a lot more joint work. A lot of people have joint pain,
Yeah.
but yeah, amazing. And the last thing, before I get lost on my thoughts, is telomeres. So if people understand what the telomeres are, that's your DNA track that keeps you young, right? So when you say people, I got a biological age of 40 and I'm actually 65, that's the length of the telomeres. When people start to age rapidly, the telomeres are going away, the inflammation's going up, the stem cells are regenerating the body. My father is 86, and one of his friends said, you have a son, I'm going to be 60. And he said, you have a son that's that old? I said, how old did you think? I said to my father, how old is your friend? He goes, he's in his 70s. And I looked at my father, I looked at some of his peers, they didn't look as good as him. You know why? Because he had a stem cell and they didn't.
Let me ask you, Eric, what do you think about stem cells for cognitive decline?
It is a home run. That's one of the main things we deal with: cognitive decline, with Parkinson's. I just had it, Susan, and I can tell you it definitely improved me. I could not read 5 chapters in a row. Yesterday morning, I started skimming through a book and I read chapter through chapter. Concentration was better. Quiet. I'm very easily affected by other people and very easy to get like all stressed out.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I can show you the science and the data. We have an SPG shot that was done by the formulator, Mr. Berkowitz. His book's called Miracles in Mayhem. And he did that shot for his son who was autistic. He didn't speak. And it changed everything for him. And now he's fully fine. He actually tried out for the Navy SEALs, didn't make it. But that goes to see you, a kid that wasn't speaking, that may have to be in a facility the rest of his life and is normal. And that was having to do with the medications,
Wow.
you
So
know.
that could be life-changing for seniors because dementia is certainly on the rise at this point. Everyone you talk to, oh, she's got dementia, she has Alzheimer's, whatever. That would be life-changing.
Yeah, imagine the stem cells are like little Pac-Man eating the inflammation in the brain. So I just had the shot with a mother passing from Alzheimer's, knowing my background, there's probably a high probability I'm a candidate for it, right?
Yeah.
Let's not put our, see, this is what if I take a few minutes with you about advocacy and understanding, dealing with it firsthand, as many people have, and understanding what happens in the process. So I look back, if we knew what I now knew when my mother was first diagnosed, one, stem cell, heavy regimen of IVs, red light, PMF, hyperbaric, just pounding the inflammation, rechanging her diet, getting off medications. Remember, people, if they're exercising, a lot of oxygen, that's a key thing. So here's my mother, a scholar, a brilliant person. She's doing puzzles and reading and all this stuff for cognitive, but we're not doing anything to improve what's going on internally. That's
Yeah.
still so this is what people got to know. And then you got to look at your loved one too. Oh, they're normal. Oh, they go through that anger frustration stage. Then they get to the point where they can't control their body, and they're going to the bathroom and they're not, they have to be, because then it becomes, now you're dealing with those issues and then you
Yeah.
need care. And I say to people, this is that there are lots of things, the lack of sleep, high levels of stress, but no doubt I can show you that's one of the main things we talk about is neuro and cognitive. Because you know what, Susan, if you went to a memory care facility that I unfortunately had been going to regularly, my grandmother was ill with it, but I didn't go like that because I was younger. And to see all of these people who had, like us, they were on maybe one day on a podcast or eating their lunch and having a meeting, and just like the rest of us take things for granted. And as I say, watch these people go through lunch. That's like a big deal to just get through lunch. So I say that's no way to live. But there is definitely, for sure, it needs to be addressed. And I think a lot of the medications, the statins and other things, don't help. And these facilities are not designed. See, if I had to design a facility with people, think about it, 80% of the people in there are women. And I think once they hit menopause, you're not producing the hormones correctly. So they wind up getting a UTI. Now they're in a wheelchair. Now they're confined to a wheelchair. Now you're confined to a wheelchair and you're losing your mind. And my mother lost her speech. Here's a woman who could read 50, 60 books. She was mentoring God knows how many people. She ran a whole entire district in New York. This is a woman that has like a 1%. So why did that happen? Because it doesn't discriminate. And then you start looking at the brain of what are the things that you're not doing that cause that decline and so rapidly.
Yeah. It's a shame. It really is a shame. We have to do better. We really do. I want to switch
Yes.
gears for a moment and talk about motivation, mindset, and transformation. You speak often about the power of motivation. In your experience, what role does mindset play in someone's ability to truly heal or transform their health?
My company's called Champion Mindset, and the song we wrote, Man on a Mission, says, I'm a man on a mission with a vision in mind. I'm a man on a mission with one goal in mind. I'm going to tell my story to the world, and then I'm going to turn my dreams into realities because life without limits is the goal in mind. So, why did I write that? Because that song was really to inspire people, but that song for me was the mantra to keep my mindset always motivated. And when you hear the song, don't and look, I have very little musical talent. Maybe you'll hear I spent a year with a vocal coach. The guy who wrote it was a fellow Brooklyn guy from Canarsie that I didn't know. That it's a rock, and this guy has written 70 meditative albums of true genius. I have my own little music studio. So I went all in. I was like, the last time I performed, I was in chorus in 276 in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I grew up in Canarsie and my parents were teachers. And so I met him. And then we wrote Man on a Mission. And guess what I did? I performed it live in Times Square in front of thousands of people. I have a music video, and I created Being a Speaker, a 2-day seminar. Now, I lost 100 pounds. I'm pretty much fit completely under here. So people look at me and they go, how old are you? And I kind of laugh and I go, I'm 59 years old. And they're like, what? I go, this is the face of anti-aging, and this is taking it to the top 1%. So mindset is everything.
Yeah.
If you don't have a positive mindset, if you don't have clear goals and direction, if you don't have a purpose, you don't have a vision, as they say, Any road will take you there. And then they say in the book, the road less traveled, life is difficult. And so you better get prepared. And so all the things that life throws at us, our stress starts, and we end up gaining 50 and 100 pounds. My mantra to people is, listen, I've lived it and I will talk to anybody. I've gained and lost weight multiple times. I crashed my car into a telephone dealing with DUI. I've had to deal with implants I'm still dealing with. I understand dealing with, I said, drugs, other things, addictions that transfer from one to the other. So I share this not to run away from it, but to be a beacon to share people. Because I think Les Brown and I talked about this in this age of 40 to 60, where I think a lot of people are running with their kids. Like my son, they got their kids, they're running their life. They got to run them to different activities. You're trying to keep your money together. And it's a lot because society tells us we got all to be that. Now I'm on the other side of it. The wife and I are like, yes, this morning she goes, I'm not your wife. Today I got her 4 new tires. I'm back in favor. But when you're with somebody for 30 something years, like you said, you have to laugh. And sometimes it's like, we have 3 bedrooms. So you know what? Nobody has to move out. You can go to opposite sides of the house and take a time out. And I think it's important because I think many of us never take time as Americans to charge our batteries. The Europeans do it. Many
Yeah.
societies do it. And this, Susan, is what causes this disease, the heart attacks. 46, I had a heart attack. My whole life dealing with, I wasn't an alcoholic. I could take drinking off, but it was that taking it into binging. And what did it do? People say, oh, I know certain people, they can have one cocktail. So we were out and somebody, you want to drink? I said, no, because I know my personality. It's on or off. Oh, it's just one. But I opened the door. So I
Yeah.
chose this, but that works for me. Other people can control it. The weight loss, I share this with people. I just put my blinders on and said, this is a must because as a result of that, I reduced all the heart medication I was doing. I reduced my biological age. I'm in some of the best shape of my life. My wife is jealous because she always sees me. What are you looking like this? What are you doing? What are you looking in the mirror? But this is mindset. So when people don't have that mindset, they get depression, they give up. The loved ones, so they feeling less, they feel less than. And when you feel great about yourself, and that's what I teach people, and that's what our journeys and experiences are becoming. Because when you come out of something and you feel good, not just mentally, you're now able to take and regulate what's going on with your physical body and not, oh my God, I got to be a speaker, but I'm like eating donuts and I'm stressing to write my speech. Stop it. I want to help you. We all, as my good friend Les Brown says, there's enough out there for everybody.
Yeah.
When you just take a minute and be patient. And it's hard for me because being from Brooklyn, everybody's in a hustle and in a hurry. And I even was at the cemetery. My whole family's yelling at me, get back in the limo. And I'm like, I had 15 people that took the trip from Miami to Boynton Beach. It's like they had to go 3 counties, for God's sakes. So I'm trying to say thank you for coming. And my niece is from, hurry up, we got to go. I'm like, we're not coming back to the cemetery. Grandma is not going anywhere right now. I said, so you guys are in a hurry, but it's okay. They're unconscious to it. So that day I just went with the flow because it wasn't about me at all.
Right.
And so I just share that with you because when you look at the day, when I look at like your present moment, and this is what I want to share with your people about personal growth, you got to be present in your own life, man. It's so easy not to be present. It's so easy to hide behind whether it's alcohol or food or something else, or maybe you're not happy in your relationship or whatever it is. You got to be happy. I was talking to my friend and he says, what do you want to do? Your mom just passed. You're going to be 60. What about your wife? What is it you want to do? And at 19, I traveled the world. And the goal with Man on a Mission is the next time maybe you do a Zoom with me, I'm in Thailand doing the Zoom. And that's about really sharing people living without limits. You've got somebody here that's not afraid to risk. I've started many businesses. I've made lots of money. I've lost money. I've hired hundreds of people. And I know one thing, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And that's what the health and wealth and the self improvement business is all about. I created a 3-day program, Susan, Beyond Man on a Mission. I teach a 1 day to frame people in the right mindset. I teach a 2 and 3 day training to teach people how to effectively tell their story. And then I run Health and Self, where I bring in the big name business speakers, health speakers, and I give average people the opportunity to get on that stage and bring their best game. So from there, what happens? I don't know, they can get on big stages. And I only can do that because I was blessed to work with some of the biggest names in that space for
Mm.
3 decades. And I want to leave this as I turn it back to you is most people don't realize that success is a journey and it starts with the very first step. And if you can get that through your mind, especially people are racing, where are you racing to? Take your time. It's your own race, right? Who am I racing against? Myself.
Yeah, yes. And it's funny that you mentioned journey because that was the next question I was going to ask you. Someone who's listening to this podcast, right, and listening to you, and they're stuck in their own health journey. They're stuck. What's the first shift in mindset that you would recommend for someone like that?
First shift in mindset is ask yourself, who are the people and who are around me who are influencing me, right?
Ah,
All right. So first is, can I get some different people into my world? As Groucho Marx used to say, if I'm in a group and I'm the smartest one in that group, it's time for me to find a new group, right?
yeah,
So like here, if I'm in that group with all the advice, I'm not a doctor. I'm a guy that's a layman who's picked up, but at the same point, I'm in a room full of big brains. I'm quiet listening unless I can provide value in those contexts. I'm at a big Academy of Stem Cell events this weekend, podcasting and hosting. You know why I get respect there? Because I help people level up their ability to speak in front of the room. Doc, stop staring at the floor while you give your talk. We're not medical school. Stop going on for 2 hours and droning on. But my whole point is that if somebody's stuck in their journey, you got to ask yourself, what is it? For the longest time, Susan, was right. I got to lose this weight, got to lose the weight until I got, how the far I went. I stopped doing seminars with Les Brown. I stopped working with my partner in the 8,000 square foot clinic. I gave up everything because I said it didn't matter if I had money, I had all this or didn't. I was going to die again. I already had 2 stents in me. I was headed for the same thing. When you
yeah,
see my pictures at 275, at 240, I had a heart attack and I was already down to under 200. So I let it creep back up. So, number one, tell your people, take a look at where you are and remember you can't see the picture in the frame. Second, who's giving you your advice? You getting it online? Go get from other people. Third is, what is the condition that you're dealing with? Is it a chronic condition? Is it weight loss? Is it maybe you're dealing with somebody who has autism or you're just stuck? If there are any of those, you let them reach out to you, and I'm more than happy to connect them within our network. What I say to people is this, and I say this especially with weight loss. Mine was completely dramatic, but I want people to understand it was a journey from fat to fit and now go into peak performance. Because if you look at my pictures, there was time you could say, oh, I can stop losing weight. But no, there was still my body fat is all the way down. Even now, I have things that I'm dealing with. So I share with people really never give up. It's up to you. Can constantly reset your goals. Look at what's working, what's not working. And maybe you got Brian Tracy likes to say zero based thinking, knowing what I now know. What would I do differently? I'd share with you with my mom, knowing what I now know, right?
yeah,
Same thing. If somebody is telling you they're on a weight loss journey and they're like doing the exercise and the diet, and I'll keep doing it. I then turn and say, you're 60 pounds overweight. You're headed for diabetes, heart attack, joint problems. You could try it your way. Have you thought about doing a peptide? Now, I asked them that because I did it because I did the other way. I couldn't do it anymore. That gave me the resets. And I'm not here to promote, like we talk stem cells and peptides. We have compound pharmacies, we offer them.
yeah,
I share to people, like you just said, if your journey is stuck, like me, I was stuck, and that unstuck me to the point I don't really need it now. If I take it, it's maintenance. But more than importantly, I'm on my journey of fitness and being healthy and regulating myself and really working on my mental health. And that's the last thing I want to share is we got to work on our mental health. We talked earlier, you said the cognitive decline. It's a frustrating thing for anyone, but we deal with a lot of people that because of drugs and alcohol and people are mentally unstable. I think a lot of the homeless out there and vets,
Yeah.
they're dealing with mental issues. We deal with people with PTSD. The stem cells help. All these different types of frequencies help. So at the end of the day, Susan, life is short. You think it's long, and then you never know. Like we talk about, my mom's 84. Oh wow, that was young. 20 years ago, it'd have been like, wow, my aunt, who was super healthy, had pancreatic cancer, and she died at 62.
Yeah.
So amazing woman. And I just share this with anybody because we don't know how much time we have on this planet. So make your thing count and live your passions and live with purpose and be on a mission and be on the mission that changes the world. Try not to go broke doing it, right? You still got to eat and pay the bills. But as I say to people, the only fear is not trying. You just got to go make it happen. If people think your idea is silly, early adapters have that problem. And once you get, and that's why I work with so many entrepreneurs, because we have a community. And if they're dealing with health issues, I got the places to put them. If they're down, they get around people that are up. I've had my days, I need somebody to pump me up. And
Yeah.
that's part of the champion mindset. Us as a community as itself is to uplift people, to make friends, and to help people win. And if people win, and as my good friend Phil Sarantino says, he's a humorist. He says, you get more done when you're having fun. And I love to subscribe to that philosophy.
That's so true. That is very true. Many of my listeners on this podcast are women in midlife and beyond. So, what breakthroughs in longevity science are relevant for women in this stage of life?
One of the things really needs to look at it, definitely stem cell therapies, a lot of the peptide therapies, definitely hormones. It's something to really look at, the
Yeah.
hormone imbalance, and something called, I talk to a lot of women and doctors, they call it perimenopause. It's like this
Yeah.
premenopause and the imbalance. And these are women even trying to have babies, they're all off. And the other thing, so there have been amazing breakthroughs. I work with folks like Donna White at BHRT. She deals with hormone replacement
Yeah.
and educating women, obviously dealing with stem cell therapy. I had my wife treated, we treated her because she was having a lot of hormonal imbalances. And in terms of even things with knowing with body, dealing with things, dealing as we get older with brittle bones, and then different. One of the main things as we get older is lifting weights. I don't
Yeah.
think people know that weightlifting is so important. I see people in the gym, especially I have a lot of friends that are women that are in phenomenal shape, 50s, 60s, 70s. This woman, Elsa, she's at the gym 3, 4 hours a day. I don't know her age, but she's easily in her 70s. I wouldn't mess with her. She can lift more weight than I can. There's some women in the gym that I would be like, I'm scared of. They're determined. And so this is a 70 some odd year old woman. You wouldn't know that. You have no, because her body is so fit.
Yeah.
And so I think people realize it's like they stop doing, like somebody said, why are you doing that? Because when you become a senior, you should stop taking care of your body. Like I live in
No.
Florida, it's the complete opposite. You got to double time on it because father time and gravity is working against you.
Yeah, yes. I find that the people in Florida, everyone's walking, everyone's jogging, bike riding. Maybe it's because it's conducive with the weather, being outdoors a lot more than you can in New York or up north at least. But everyone
Right.
is very health conscious in Florida.
They're health conscious, and you see a lot of people. It's very amazing. It's commonplace. A lot of people working in their 70s. They're in their
Yes.
70s, Susan. And when you have that mindset, come on, I'm 59 years old singing on stage. My daughter, who's a lawyer in New York, thinking I'm losing my mind. He said, no, it's for my seminars like Tony Robbins. Deep down, I want to be a rock star. Come on. Who doesn't?
Eric, leave me with some final thoughts.
My final thoughts are this. You got to take action right now in your life. Your dance card's already full, so there's no time to wait. What do you need to eliminate so you can do what really you love? If you keep talking about the same thing and you're not doing something about it, your weight, your love life, your something that's really bothering you, handle it. I'm a big time procrastinator. Heck, I was told about these tires for God knows how long, but now we got tires, gang. And the last thing I'll say to people is never give up on yourself. Never give up on your goals and dreams. It's okay to take a pause. It's okay to know that every minute of every day you're not going to be happy. But if you live your life by a certain set of rules and you take care of yourself, you go about your business in the right way, you're there to serve others, and I believe God is going to provide. And I don't necessarily, as Les Brown said, there's enough out there for everybody. It's not, hey, Susan, you got to do this for me because I did this for you.
Yeah.
And I believe in the law of indirect effort that Brian Tracy talks about because it happens to me all the time. We do this podcast and something may happen that I may have somebody I'm going to introduce you to, or vice versa, or whatever. And that's how the world works. And I will share to your people, don't take yourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Be happy. And I was just taught a lesson. Oh, my mom will be here for a while. And hey, she's not. And whatever I say about better place, mom's not here in the physical body. And so for anybody here that's holding back on their dreams and their goals, and a lot of your women, right? I work with a lot of women. So that's why they should come to our conference. I work with a lot of successful women, and I have a lot of women on our programs because I know where they're at. They got a voice to be heard. And that, by the way, that's my market. That's who loves my music video, by the way. That's that I test it out and I got market data. I go, oh, perfect. And it's this, they have something to do. They maybe raise their kids. Maybe they were dealing with a sick parent, or they have money and they want to. I've had people pay me to get on stage to introduce Les Brown, but they have a desire. Maybe they have a business and they're fearful. Maybe they were behind a man their whole life because they were supporting him and a family, and it's their time. So I will say this to your women, to your lady bosses, that any of them want to show up at my event for you, they can come as my guest. I don't want any money. They just need to show up because you know what? I know I coach so many women that have the goods and they get a little bit intimidated, and you're playing out here in a man's world sometimes in some of the businesses, and you just gotta level up and not be afraid. And I don't say that's all of you because I know a lot of successful women and we have a lot in our network. So be bold, go for it. Life, this is, as my mom would say, this isn't a dress rehearsal.
Yes.
This is it. And in the words of Lenore Stoller, isn't a dress rehearsal. So I
Yeah.
try to not break up, but for that, I will leave it. And I also share you the video of my mother as she mentored some young women. I think you'd find it wonderful for your audience as well.
Yes. What I also want you to do is send me all your information, all your programs, whatever you have going on, events of any kind. I will put it in the show notes.
Yes, yes. And championmindsetevents.com. You can see all the events because we not just host our events, we host any events. If you're hosting one or you have people
Okay.
that we put it up there as a community calendar, and we put it to our community as well. We also help people raise sponsor money. We also show them how to raise sponsor money. People ask me, I've raised millions of dollars in corporate sponsors to underwrite events. I've sold millions of dollars in tickets to events. I've helped people sell tens of millions of dollars of products. So the other side of me is I just love business and help people in getting started. But at this point in my life, my goal is to get out there and sing Man on a Mission wherever I can. In fact, hopefully next month I'll be back in Times Square singing Man on a Mission again.
Very nice. Eric, thank you so much for being here today. I truly enjoyed this conversation.
I love it, Susan. I love it. Two Brooklynites together here on Zoom. Go figure.
As we wrap up today's powerful conversation, I hope you're walking away feeling inspired, energized, and reminded that your health journey is truly in your own hands. Eric shared such incredible into what it really means to step into your champion mindset, not just for peak performance, but for true healing, longevity, and living a vibrant, meaningful life. It's not about doing everything once. It's about making intentional choices, staying curious, and allowing yourself to evolve. If there's one takeaway from today, let it be this. You have more power than you think. Your mindset, your daily habits, and your willingness to take that next step forward can completely transform your health and your life. Eric, thank you so much for being here, for the work that you're doing in the world, and for bringing together innovation, motivation, and heart in such a powerful way. And to all of you listening, thank you for being a part of this beautiful community. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend. Please subscribe to this podcast. Leave me a review. It truly helps us reach more women who are ready to heal and rejuvenate their mind, body, and soul. Until the next time, this is Susan LoPresti reminding you to take care of yourself, honor your body, and never stop believing in the ability to heal, grow, and thrive. Thank you again.